Hi everyone, my name is Merly and welcome to the Roadside Homestead. Today is June 19th, 2021 and I would like to give you a tour of my garden. Let's go! This is the view from one side of my garden. So here in this corner I have a marigold plant. I actually planted marigold all over my garden. And then this raised bed has some banana peppers and grand bell mix. So I have, I think, 36 plants in these raised beds, and I mulched this raised bed with grass clippings that I collected from my yard. And then let's move over to the second raised bed. As you can see, the plants are bigger. These are also peppers. I have some red bell peppers in this bed. The bell peppers, the big ones, are the red bell peppers that I collected these seeds from my store-bought bell pepper. And then over there, the smaller ones are the grand bell mix that I started from seeds. Here in the next raised bed, I have some peanuts. This year is my first time to grow peanuts. Look at that. They look so pretty and I'm just so excited to harvest my peanuts. So healthy. This garden bed is also mulched with grass clippings to control the weeds. And then let's move on over here. This is my fourth raised bed. And this one has sweet potatoes. They're looking good. I just weeded this raised bed a couple of days ago. You can see this cut portions of the sweet potatoes. It's because I have been harvesting the young leaves of the sweet potatoes to put in my soup, and I saute them too, and they taste so good. Now over here I have a couple of broccoli. I'm not really sure if I can get a decent broccoli head from this, since it's already late in the season and the weather is not cooperating for my broccoli. And over here I have my sweet peas. I planted the sweet peas in order to collect more seeds. So here I'm gonna show you. I haven't been harvesting from these plants. I only have 5 of them, and if you can see, that's already mature. So I will just be collecting seeds from that, and I'm gonna plant them in the fall, hopefully. And then here in the same raised bed, I have some red Malabar spinach. They're also good in soup, or you can saute them. So let's move on over to the next raised bed, but before that I'm gonna show you some more marigold right here. Those are my extra volunteer marigold.
Sunflower.
Another sunflower. This is my second batch of sunflower. My first batch of sunflowers are already big. And then over here I have my onions. I have 3 kinds of onions that I planted. I have the yellow onions, the red onions, and the white onions. Over here are my potatoes. I have 2 kinds of potatoes, the brown one and the red potatoes. I don't know what the exact names are because I just got this from the grocery store. Some of my potatoes sprouted, so I decided to keep them in my basement and then planted them early spring. I have this beautiful flag in my garden that I got for $1 from Dollar Tree that says bloom where you are planted. I think it's so cute. So here are more marigolds, and then let's go over to this raised bed. And here I have 3 plants. I have some broccoli, I have some cauliflower and pak choy on the other side. So let's take a look at our broccoli. These plants have started growing some broccoli heads. This one right here, I'm really not good at planting broccoli, so I'm just hoping to get some decent broccoli head. This one right here actually is not bad. I'll probably harvest this today. And then I'm gonna show you my cauliflower. I have so many worms in this bed. I actually dusted it because I tried neem oil and it did not work. So this, I still do not see a cauliflower head. So I don't know yet if this is gonna produce, but look at this one. Wow, that's a beautiful broccoli head right there. So I can have some maybe cheesy broccoli for dinner. That's gonna be yummy. And then over here, this huge plant that you can see, this is pak choy. This is also a spring crop, but then it's really hot here in western Kentucky right now. So we've been having like high 90s to triple digits temperatures every day. And so yeah, all my pak choy have bolted, and then I just let them grow like this because I'll be collecting the seeds from this pak choy so I can plant some more. Now let's go over to my earth beds. This side I have a bunch of plants as well. We couldn't afford a lot of raised beds this year, so that's why most of our plants are on the ground. More marigold, and then I have 6 rows of tomatoes. I'm gonna show you this one because this is the first row that I planted, and this is the big beef. I think this is big beef tomatoes, and I have 10 tomato plants in each row, so they look really nice. I got this tomato cages from a clearance sale at Walmart last year, and I wish I bought more. I only bought 15 of them. They were $1 each, and I only bought 15 because that's all I could fit in my car. I wish I had a truck at that time so I can load more, but I will see if I can get some more in November because that's when I got these tomato cages last year. These tomatoes are looking really healthy. I think this one is the Roma tomatoes. And no, these are San Marzano tomatoes. I only have 2 cages in here. And these tomatoes are already big as well. They need to be staked. So today I'm gonna be working on staking these tomatoes. I hoed this portion of my garden yesterday, but then it got so hot, so I had to stop and go back to my house. Plus, I have 2 kids, and yeah, they needed me over there. So as you can see, some of them have fallen over already, so they really need help. I might make a video on how I stake all of my tomatoes, so please watch out for that. So this is the 3rd row of tomatoes. Yeah, this one here is just full of grass and weeds, but that's fine. I can't really help it. I don't know if anyone has a perfect garden that does not have weeds. I was thinking of getting a garden fabric, but I just couldn't afford it anymore. So I'm just working with what I have right now. I have an old fence that I am planning on using as a stake for some of these tomatoes. These are probably too close together. My path is really small, but I just want to plant more in this little space. So that's why I'm cramping them in this spot. So that's 60 tomatoes overall. And then I have 2 rows of eggplants. They're still a little bit small, These eggplants right here are the Black Beauty, so they are supposed to be the round eggplants. So I have 8 of them in this row. I'm planting them a little bit farther away compared to the tomatoes because they can be bushy, and so I want to give them enough room to grow. And this eggplant is the Japanese early summer long purple eggplant, and I planted 8 of them in this row. As you can see, I also need to hoe this part of my garden. So yeah, eggplants. So I have 16 eggplants in this area. Over here I have a couple of lemongrass. So this is one of my lemongrass. I saved this from last year. I actually have a video on how to save lemongrass. I need to upload that. So another lemongrass. This one is so healthy. I put lemongrass in my soup. You can also put lemongrass in tea. This one in here, these are my zinnias. They're still small. I just planted those 3 days ago. And then some more marigold. This one is really nice. I mean, considering that it's in the shade. The other one does not have flowers yet, but it has one bud. This plant is the Russian mammoth sunflower. I started this from seed together with the little one that I showed you a while ago, but I planted this seedling in the ground a little bit earlier. It was in I think April when I planted this, so it's already big. I have a couple of grapes in my garden, so this was also planted in April, so 2 months ago. I got this for $5 at Walmart, and I bought a couple of them. I think they're like different. I'm not really good with grapes because it's my first time to plant grapes, so that's what I have for now. And then over here, that's okra. So I have 4 little hills of okra. I need to separate them, so I'm gonna transplant these okras to a different part of my garden. I got a couple okras in here, and then there are 3 on this side. Over here I have some June bearing strawberries. This used to be a strawberry tower, but the tower kept falling over because it was not very sturdy, so I ended up taking 7 of those stackable planters to a spot near my house. Here is my chili pepper. This is a 1-year-old chili pepper. I got this from my garden last year, and then I just put it in a pot last fall. I have harvested from this plant already. I might have to show you a video of that harvest as well. And then over here is my jalapeno pepper plant. This one is growing really good. It's just so green, and look at that one. It's full of produce already. I have harvested 4 from this jalapeno plant. That's pretty. This one, I don't know, I've been trying to revive this. It's a little bit yellowish. I gave this some fish fertilizer a couple of times already, and it's probably time to give it some more fish fertilizer. This is the second grape plant that I was talking about. So you can see the ground is so dry. I watered this last night, but it looks so dry again. I probably didn't give it enough water. Over here I have this fence. This was my old fence because I had a smaller garden before, and so we fenced it in, but then it didn't really keep the animals out. The animals would just jump over my little fence, so we decided to take it off so it'll be easier to do chores in the garden. And so I decided to keep the old fence and use it as a trellis. So let's go over to this side. I'm gonna show you what plants are growing in this portion of my garden. Another marigold here, and this is another Russian mammoth Sunflower. Oh, look at that. Look at the top of it. Oh, I can't wait for the flower to come out. I have another lemongrass in this pot. You're not supposed to cage a lemongrass. I need to take off that cage. It was just a marker so that my husband will not mow the lemongrass when he was mowing around my garden a couple of days ago. I actually thought that this lemongrass will die, but it actually survived. So here I have 3 little hills that I made. This side is for my bitter melon. I love bitter melon, and bitter melon is rich in iron. So I cook it with egg, or I put it in sauteed food and some other dishes that I cook. So this one is growing really good. See these little tendrils? This one's gonna climb up my little trellis. And then I have a second bitter melon plant next to it. It's also looking good. So when it's long enough, I'm gonna guide this to climb over my trellis. It's still not big enough to, oh, actually I was able to make it grab the trellis, so that's good. This is so sad. I had my 3rd bitter melon in here, but it's dead. Yeah, it's this one, it's dead. It's because we had a temperature in the lower 40s on May 30th, and it killed some of my plants. I thought my squashes would die too, but they survived. And then over here in this row, I have my string beans, or some people call it snake beans. I also have part of that old fence that I'm using as a trellis. So let's have a close-up of this plant right here. So yeah, so excited for that because I love string beans. I put string beans in many of the dishes that I cook. And then over here, this row is bush beans. I planted 3 kinds of bush beans. These ones in here are the purple ones, so I have 4 of them. And then I have the yellow bush beans. They're called the Cherokee Walks. And then I have the tender green. So these are the green beans right here. I have more green beans because it's the one that I mostly use, and I love it so much. Now this row is not yet full. I planted 4 moringa plants in here, but one of them died because of the cold or maybe some transplant shock. So this little moringa plant was started from seed sometime in April. This one has yellowed, but then if you look at the top of it, the new leaves are actually green. So I think this is gonna survive. I still have some room between them. I am still trying to decide what to plant on there. Oh, this one is green. This one is looking really good. Moringa is a superfood. That's why I love it. This is a spot where I had 1 moringa and it's dead. And as you can see, I have some little plants in here. These are red Malabar spinach. I planted this much later in the season. Another moringa, and then some more little Malabar spinach right here. Next row is water spinach. So you can actually eat all of the parts of this plant. I usually just cook the leaves, but you can use the stem too. The stem is really soft and you can saute it or put it in soup. So this whole row is for my water spinach. It looks so healthy too. The end of it is still empty, and I plan on growing ginger. Off to the next row. This row I have some herbs. So thyme is here, and then oregano. I have some a little rosemary right there. Another moringa plant. This is purple basil, or it says opal basil in the packaging. another moringa, another purple basil, another moringa right here, and then I have some little radishes. I only have a few of them. Here, another radish right here, still small. That's my marker. It says radish, moringa, and then here I have kale. So I just put the styrofoam cup where I planted the seedlings in here, so I don't have to make another marker. This one is growing good. I'm looking forward to having some kale. And then here I just planted some sunflower. It's a different kind of sunflower. It's kind of like, I don't know, late evening, whatever it's called. I'm gonna have to look it up. And then over here is my squash row. I have two kinds. I have the yellow crookneck and the green zucchini. So they're looking really good. And I'm using tomato cages for this. For the first time, I'm staking them with tomato cages, and hopefully they will last longer and grow better this way, and it will also be easier to see if there are some bugs, because I have so many squash bugs in here. You can see this little flower, and I actually have a little squash growing in there. So I'm excited. So more flowers. So these are some male flowers, but there are some female flowers that are about to grow as well. So yeah, oh, this one has a couple of fruits already, so that's good. I like frying these squashes, and I used to plant so many squashes, and then I realized that I couldn't eat all of them, and yeah, I need to research more on how to preserve my harvest. I do can and freeze some, but this year I'll be doing more of that because we've run out of our frozen vegetables really quick. This one is a longer row, and as you can see, I'm also using this old fence as a trellis. This row has 3 different plants. I have 2 kinds of cucumbers. One is pickling, the national pickling cucumber. So that's national pickling right there. And the other one over here is the market more cucumber. For some reasons, these are growing slowly, but then over here I have some butternut squash. Actually, a lot of butternut squash, because I just love butternut squash so much, and I freeze a lot of them. And I just ran out of butternut squash. Like a couple of days ago, I cooked my last frozen butternut squash. So yeah, I can't wait to have more harvest of my butternut squash. They'll grow really quick, and next week we're supposed to get some rain, well, hopefully, so that should help my plant out. I apologize for this one. I know it's full of grass, and I need to be working on this. We'll probably just run a tiller between the plants because this is a thick grass already, and this is a new part of my garden. That's why there are so many grass growing in it. This used to be the playground of my kids, but then we decided that we needed more room for growing our food, so my husband tilled this area to add to the main garden, because that was the original garden over there. And then we also added like a couple of feet around it to make it a little bit bigger. So anyway, I'm gonna show you where the playground is. That's a playground right there. I got this playground from 5 or 6 years ago, and the story of this playground was actually we didn't have money that time because we just moved into this property, and we're out of cash. So I sold my daughter's old clothes, her baby clothes, her baby things that she did not need anymore. we bought this playground, and my daughter was very, very excited to have a playground for the first time. So that works. So going back to my garden, I have 5 rows of corn. This is my second time to grow corn, and I'm growing 3 different kinds this time. This corn right here is supposed to be for like making flour, so you have to mill it. It's my first time to grow this kind, because the last time I have grown some corn, I just had the sweet corn, because we like sweet corn so much. But then I saw this from the MI Gardener website, and the picture is really nice. If you look at this one, look at that. It has these lines and it looks so pretty. So I figured this will look nice in my garden, and I want to try. We'll just see if I can get anything from this, or what I'm gonna do with this one. And then this is a new one as well that I got from MI Gardener. This one is baby corn. I like putting baby corn in my dish, especially in my soup, because baby corn tastes so good. And I also put them in sauteed vegetables. So, and as you can see, the baby corn plants are actually smaller than the rest of my corn. Okay, so over here are the sweet corn, and they're growing as big as that the flower corn or something, but then the baby corn is small. Over here I have some more marigold. This stick is moringa. You can actually plant a moringa stick, but then it was too cold when I planted this, so it died. But I actually have a couple of them that survived. More marigold, and then the second batch of sunflower. There's another one in here. I have a basil plant. So this one is the Genovese basil, or yeah, this is the Genovese basil. And then more marigold. And then I have another basil right here. And then this one, these little plants are zinnias. And this is one of the moringa stems that I planted that survived. As you can see, it has some leaves already. Some more marigold. And I have this little post that I just got from Walmart, and I'm planning on hanging some hummingbird feed in this post. So one of the reasons why we expanded our garden is to have a pumpkin patch. Last year we went to a farm. We went to their pumpkin patch, and my daughter enjoyed it so much, and then she said that this year she wants to grow some pumpkins. So we are growing some pumpkins. I'm not sure if these pumpkins are gonna survive all the squash bugs in here, but because there are so many squash bugs in my area. So I planted a bunch of them. I know that's too many for this pot, but I'm gonna pull some of them out and transfer them to a container. So I will have some pumpkins growing vertically. These are the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, by the way. I saved the seeds of my jack-o'-lantern from last year. And so yeah, I have so many of them. And then over here, the next row has some cornucopia. My first time to plant some cornucopia, so I don't know what to expect. And I know they're pretty, so I'm really excited for them too. And I have 5 hills of the cornucopia plants. And again, there are so many in each hill, so I'm gonna need to thin this out. Over here, this one is watermelon, and then we also have some cantaloupe. So this is cantaloupe right here. They're still small because they were planted just over a week ago. And then next to it is spaghetti squash. This was given to me by a lady that I work with, and I just put them in the ground. They're looking good now. Next to my future hummingbird feeder, and these are some zinnias as well. I'm gonna show you something. This row of plants, it does not have much. This one has a couple of tomatoes, a marigold, couple of zinnias, and sunflower, eggplant, and the pepper. This is my daughter's garden, so she wants to grow her own garden. So that's why I said okay, and so I made a row for her, and then she planted all of these plants in this little garden earth bed. So she needs to do some weeding in here. I'll probably have to help her do the cleaning. We'll just see. She's 7 years old. And then I would also like to show you this pot in my garden. This one has zucchini, yellow squash, sugar baby watermelons, cucumbers, bush beans, eggplants, peppers, and tomatoes. Now this garden is my $20 garden. I also have a story for this. Whenever we started gardening, we didn't really have money. So I bought a couple of seed packets, and then I got some seedlings from a friend because she had some extra seedlings that she gave me. And so I planted that, and that year I spent $20 for my garden, and we actually had a decent size of garden. So this year I am making a $20 garden series for my channel because I would like to share with people that you don't really need a lot of money to start a garden. I mean, if you don't need to buy raised beds, expensive soil, you can plant on the ground and you can grow your own food, even if you don't spend hundreds of dollars for your garden. So yeah, this is my $20 garden. I'm so happy with this garden right now. Aside from the weeding that I need to do, I think I'm all set for this growing season. I need to plant my ginger in the garden as well. Then just do some little garden maintenance each day. I also planted some apple trees this year, and I planted 3. This is the Gala apple, and then over here, that's my yellow delicious, and then the one farther away is my Honeycrisp apple. We do have a few trees in my property. We have a persimmon, and then we have some pecan trees as well. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my little garden. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from my Roadside Homestead, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day. Bye.